Hello. Global climate change is real. I think we can all agree on that, except for, maybe a small subset of people who are choosing to ignore the overwhelming science. The warming is happening, and we are now seeing what scientists have been warning us about for decades. Coastal cities are being devastated, insurance companies are pulling out, and even places far from the coasts are now at risk. We've been inundated with rhetoric, endless documentaries, podcasts, news reports, all telling us just how bad climate change is. They serve up dire statistics and hard science proving just how terrible things are, how much worse things will get, and ultimately how powerless we are to stop it. And that's the most frustrating part. These messages merely serve as doom porn, hammering home the problem, but offering almost no solutions. And I'm not sitting here pretending like I have a solution. I don't see one. I see theoretical solutions, small individual acts like changing a light bulb or buying electric vehicles or recycling. But these have been nearly debunked as real ways to fix the crisis. They might have worked in the 1920s, but not now, not in 2024. We are slaves to a systemic issue, and no individual has the power or resources to solve it alone. Even if you go homeless, rid yourself of all your belongings, and somehow manage to get off the grid, the infrastructure around you will still continue to pump out carbon emissions on a diabolical scale. So, what is the solution? I don't know. And that's what's maddening. I'm tired of talking about how bad things are. We've established the facts. Climate change is real, it's happening, and it's catastrophic. So why are we still talking about it as if that's news? We keep saying it's to convince those who aren't listening, but the ones who aren't listening are the ones in power. They already know how bad things are, and they already know that they are very responsible, and they already know what needs to be changed. So they'll just continue to ignore it or ignore us until things get so bad, until so many people suffer that we rise up in masses, like the civil rights movement or the labor movement in the turn of the century. And it's only when the public demands change on such a massive scale that their power is threatened will they act. But we're not there yet. So, what do we do? I don't believe we should sit around hoping for some miraculous technological breakthrough to save us. Even if a breakthrough like that does happen, it will likely be too late for us. And those with power and resources will be the first to benefit from it. And, not the rest of us. So expecting them to use it for the betterment of all mankind, that's not really something that I feel comfortable waiting for. So here's the data that we don't have, the data that I want. We know the temperature is rising, the oceans are swelling, the future is bleak, but what I want to know is what makes a difference? Not just on an individual level, but on a societal scale. What kinds of activism, what kind of messaging actually affects the system of people? If I post a video raising awareness, does that reduce my carbon footprint? Or is it more effective for me to go join a protest or block a highway or, vandalize a government building? Force the media to pay attention. Does that have an effect on the greater carbon footprint? And if so, by how much? If I take to the streets or a protest, to protest a politician ignoring the science, does that move the needle on climate change? We have to start quantifying the impact of our social actions, or else, what are we doing? What are we doing with our time or our voices? I care deeply about this as a crisis, and I believe that we're in the 25th hour. But like many of you, I'm not changing my habits. I'm not taking to the streets. I'm not writing to my senator because those things feel so powerless. I feel like none of it makes a difference. I know the stats on electric vehicles, and while it's a good first step, it doesn't inspire me to act. Maybe I need a different number. Maybe we all do. Something that shows us what our impact could be from a sociological perspective. We're missing a key part of the conversation. How do we as a society collectively make a difference? What social dynamics, what movements can turn the tide? I'm done listening to podcasts about the science. I'm done watching documentaries that just tell us how bad things are. And I'm done participating in the idea that we can do something without the help of the political system. Because at the end of the day, politics is simply the act of humans making a decision collectively in large numbers. So no matter what, we have to participate in politics of some kind to change minds of humans in large numbers. And I want to know, how do we get people to act? How do we get all of us together, to move before things get so bad that people start dying in a massive scale? And the horrible truth is that it just might mean waiting until that happens, but I refuse to believe that that's the only way forward. I'm not telling you that you have to do anything or that what you believe is wrong, because everything that I'm doing here and saying is just as effective and helpful as turning off the light when I leave the room. This is just a reflection of my own apathy for conventional change, I suppose. Yo.